words. And I'm really curious as to your take on it as someone who's come from these multiple identities of the place that you're in, seeing the reaction to the world in the face of injustice against African Americans versus Jews, and being both.
Right.
Like,
Right.
how do you process that?
I mean, I'll be straight up, and
Yeah.
some people ain't gonna like what I have to say, but I just, at this point, who could care? The truth is that I've said this when they did this Dateline thing on me, when Kanye had said whatever he had said, and and I ended up doing this thing for ABC, and I was honest there. I'll say it to them. I'll say it to you. I've been Jewish now for 10 years, and I've been black for 36 years. All right. I've encountered way more anti-Semitism in the 10 years that I have, like almost 1 millionth time more than I have encountered racism, as a black person. You understand? And that's just my personal experience. Some people may have different experiences, but for me, so
We win,
for
they hate
me,
us more.
all right. I'm just being honest. Let's look
Yeah,
at
yeah,
let's
no, I
just
understand.
look at a time. When was there ever been a time? Like, let's be straight up. Let's just call a spade, where we have, even during the time of Jim Crow, you talk about isolated issues. There was never the world was united against black people all over the world. That there's a particular group of social, um, society, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, that is against black people with every type of conspiracy, every type of what like.
To
We
the
just
level
got to
of
be honest.
scapegoat.
We just got to be honest about the situation. You got to be very, very honest about the situation, and that's
It's
me.
isolated.
It's not emotional. It's honesty. It's like just seeing things and seeing it for what it is.
You're
So
talking about
because of
scale
that,
and degree, that in terms of the things that the
I'm ta-
Jews have faced historically, transcended over generations.
And consensus also.
Consensus is
yeah,
the
and we're
scariest thing.
still seeing it today. It's not like we don't got to go look in a history book for this. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not, and I'm for sure, I'm not one of the guys that say that racism doesn't exist neither, because that would be a lie. Racism definitely doesn't exist. I don't know if it exists in a manner of which the world had to be turned upside down the way that it did in order, and I don't think it was honest. I think there were other agendas being pushed as to why this became, the topic of discussion. Because I don't know if anybody else noticed, but as soon as the election was over, this was no longer the topic of discussion now. We're pushing other things. So I think that there was definitely, something behind what was there, and now people feel it. And I've talked to a lot of different people who are in the hood. They feel played. People feel played. They always they will look. I hope this actually means some type of change or different things. But the truth is, it's never gonna come that way, because that ain't the way to get it. So for me, it is hard to see people have a double standard. Organizations like Black Lives Matter, with the parachutists, the tweet that they made. I did an op-ed against, basically explaining what I felt about that. But it's a major twist of and a major double standard.
Where do you think
and on many different levels? Let's talk about. Nobody's talking about the Native Americans, man. Because let's talk about how can you be standing on stolen land? Talk about somebody else stole some land.
Yeah.
How come they're not talking about this in the universities?
I mean,
Right?
the
Why is this
arguments
subject?
implode on themselves. It's fundamentally incoherent. But what do you think the thread is that connects a movement like Black Lives Matter to free Palestine? I have my own take on it in terms of how they perceive the world versus oppressed and oppressors, and whoever they deem to be in a certain category. They don't look at things as individuals or what's moral or what's good. Whoever is deemed to be in this category can do whatever it wants to this category, commit atrocities. It's
exactly.
all in the name of revolution. But what do you think that comes from? This sense of, is it political or philosophical? The sense of solidarity that BLM